Welcome to the Raider Talks game preview. I am your host, Art Navarrete, here alongside Nick Ibarra. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button down below for Raider content all season long. Make sure to stick around to the end for our keys to the game, our offensive and defensive player of the games for the Raiders, along with our score predictions. Nick, week one, kickoff, how excited are you?
I'm pumped up. First of all, are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
This is one that we've been circling ever since the schedule came out, and I think in reality, this is the one that we've been scheduling ever since, the Raiders Chiefs back in January. I'm pumped up. I'm excited. It took me a while, from bad taste in my mouth from last year. Quiet off season, starting this show kind of late. Went to Raiders Rams preseason. Jimmy G and the Stars went out there, and that's when I was really pumped up, really excited. Now it's game week. I've been watching things all week. The pressers, the behind the shills, all the YouTubes, old press conference, just get me pumped up and excited. I'm pumped up. I'm excited. Raiders, Broncos, rivalry week. Nothing's better than this.
Yeah, I've been ready to go this whole game week. Been excited. I got spoiled a little bit by the Chandler Jones incident, but we're going to move right past that. In the 2022 season, Nick, the Raiders swept the Broncos. They held them to 23 in one game, held them to 16 in another game. Is there anything we can take from last year's wins?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is still the same tight-knit group of players offensively and defensively. Russell Wilson's still the quarterback. Their defense is still the bread and butter. The only thing that's changed is the head coach. Is he going to change the scheme? Is he going to change everything that they do? He can change everything, but he can't change the way the players still play. And we dominated them last year twice.
Yeah. The same quarterback is a big deal. It's the same quarterback. And I think Russell Wilson, started getting he started acting different once we gained pressure on him, especially early in the game with Max Crosby just coming at him just every play. It seemed like Russell Wilson was a little rattled, and I think that's something we can take from that game and get him a little rattled. Let's get this defensive line going early. Let's get Max Crosby going. Let's get Tyree Wilson going.
Get him going early. Make him force things and make him do things that he normally doesn't do. This isn't the same Russell Wilson back in the Seattle days, back to those 2 Super Bowl appearances. This is a whole new Russell Wilson. Even Sean Payne came in and said, hey, quit worrying about your personal image. Play some football. I don't think his head's in the game. And now it's time to take advantage of all that. This is their week 1, 2, or Sean Payne's week 1 as a Bronco. Let's go spoil that.
Yeah. Along with Russell Wilson, it seems like he's a guy that likes, the short game, passing.
Yeah.
Short throws, just get down the field in a matter of time. And that's going to be a big deal for this Raider linebacker group to have a good game. Robert Spillane, Divine Diablo, Luke Masterson, those guys are going to need to have really good games along with the line putting pressure on them.
Yeah. This is a big year for just that linebacker group. I don't think we've had a good linebacker group in a while. Just here and there, Perryman was a great pickup. We let him go. This is a team that likes to use their running backs, and Russell Wilson, if he's in the mood or if that's his day, he likes to run too. Linebackers better be all over him. Cover, get after the quarterback, get after the running backs, and make their day hell.
Yeah, the pressure from Mad Max and Tyree could be the game changer in this game, and can be the X factor in this game. What do you expect from Tyree Wilson, the young rookie?
I expect him to come in and play, and if he wants to keep that job. Just like you said, we're going to pass by it. This was supposed to be Mad Max, Chandler Jones. And I often worried, well, when are we going to see Tyree Wilson? When are we going to see Malcolm Kuntz? And now that Chandler Jones is out of the picture, I think he's going to fit into that really well. Big game 1, and have a day.
What do you expect from Mad Max in this first game? He seems more hungry than ever.
What I expect is what he's been doing against the Broncos all of his career, causing havoc. No matter if whoever has the ball, if the running back has the ball, tackle for loss. If the quarterback has the ball, it's going to be a sack. He's all over the field. He's going to have a day, and it just seems like he throws those tackles around like if it's nothing.
All right, Nick, we got Josh Jacobs back. Got him back about a week or 2 ago. What do you expect from Josh Jacobs in this Raiders running game in this week 1 matchup?
I expect a big game. A lot of people are, oh man, he's going to be on snap count. He didn't go through training camp. No, he's fresh. He is fresh. He didn't have to go through training camp or workouts or anything. He worked out on his own. He didn't take hits in training camp. He is fresh. I expect him to have a big game. You know, he's 7-0 against the Broncos in his career, averaging 100 yards, averaging 1.3 touchdowns a game, I want to say. You know, he's going to do the exact same thing and have a big day, game 1 in this 2023 season.
Yeah, I expect a lot from Jacobs as well. Like you said, fresh legs, probably less banged up than the other guys, other running backs on our football team. So I expect Jacobs to do a lot in this game. You know, I don't expect him to be in, you know, mid-season form in this game, but I still expect him to get over 100 yards and have a touchdown or two in this football game.
Or even like his first ever game, you know, and it was against the Broncos. He had 80-something yards, 30 yards catching out of the backfield, but he put up 3 touchdowns and jumped over the line for the 1 or 2 yard touchdowns. You know, I expect kind of the exact same game. You know, you don't have to have 100 yards to have a big game, but I have him coming in, making an impact, and having a big game, however that is.
Nick, how important is it for this offensive line to get to a good start in week 1? The last 4 or 5 seasons, this Raider offensive line has had terrible starts to the year. I mean, weeks 1 through probably 4, the first quarter of the year, been horrible.
Yeah.
Been horrible. And they usually finish off strong, looking like they could be an elite offensive line, elite type of offensive line. How big is it for them to get to a big start, good start early in the season?
It's huge. You know, and if we just rewind a season, Jacobs didn't have a great week 1. Carr didn't have a great week 1. Nobody other than Devontae Adams had a week 1, and he made things happen on his own. You know, this starts on the line. You got to protect Jimmy G. You got to create holes for Josh Jacobs, and yeah, you're right. It starts on the line. You got to do it now because you know everything happened later on in the season last year, and that's how we got our little win streak going or a little momentum. We got to start off fast. You know, this is a rivalry week. This is a big game. You know, this kind of counts as 2, knowing that it's a divisional game. You know, they got to start off fast.
Yeah, like most football games, this week 1's no different. Whoever's better in the trenches is probably going to win this football game.
Yeah.
And it's huge for this Raider offensive line to get to a good start, pocket protect, create holes for Josh Jacobs. So I'm excited to see what this offensive line can do.
Yeah.
You know, it makes me a little nervous going into week 1 about our offensive line, but they have shown no signs in preseason of them, you know, being less than average. I think they'll at least be an average offensive line.
Just be an average. Protect Jimmy G at all costs. Create some holes. You know, it's not asking for too much. You know, Jacobs can make people miss and do things on his own. Just give him a little bit of space and let him work.
Yeah, just like the preseason, Aiden O'Connell and our quarterbacks had a lot of time.
Yeah.
Brian Hoyer, Jimmy G, they had lots of time. Just keep doing what you did in the preseason, and I think we will be all right. Here's a couple of matchups that I want to point out to you, Nick, that should be interesting in this football game. Patrick Surtain versus Devontae Adams. How you feel about that matchup?
Who dominated last year?
Devontae Adams dominated.
Exactly. You know, there was no stopping Devontae. You know, the walk-off in Denver was perfect. You know, and the things and the catches that he was doing against Surtain was great. Surtain's a great corner. I'm not going to take that away from him. But we got a better player in the wide receiver position in Devontae, probably in my eyes the number 1 wide receiver in the league, and you know he's just gonna make everyone look like that.
Yeah, I would say the same thing as you. Patrick Surtain is a good defensive back, but Devontae Adams took his lunch money twice last year, and I don't expect anything different in this football game.
No, that's gonna be a great matchup to look at, and you know just like last year, Devontae had a great week 1. I say he's going to do that again.
Yeah, I think so also. Here's another matchup that I think is interesting. Josh McDaniels and his staff versus Sean Payton and his coaching staff.
Yeah. You know, Josh McDaniels and this coaching staff has been here and done that week 1 before. You know, Sean Payton and his coaching staff as a Bronco hasn't. This is his first game as a Bronco. It's time to go spoil that and you know, let's see what happens.
Yeah, week 1 for Sean Payton. Everybody hyping up this new regime for the Denver Broncos, and I think it's huge for the Raiders to go spoil it early. It's a division rivalry. It's a team that we don't want them to get to a hot start just in case they are good.
Yeah.
So let's get after it and let's beat Sean Payton in his first game in Denver. Also, let's get those fans a little upset. Josh McDaniels in his press conference said that, you know, preparing for week 1's tough because you don't have film. You can't prepare like you would like in the middle of the season. So it's going to be a lot of on the field coaching, a lot of adjustments that are going to need to be made for us to win this football game. So I think coaching, the better coach team is probably going to win this football game.
Yeah, and it's even tougher on top of that when this coach didn't even coach last year and didn't even coach this team before at all. So, you're looking at stuff from last year. You could be looking at stuff from him and Drew Brees back in, the New Orleans days. But, you're right. You really don't coach, or you really don't look at anything until halftime, or even on the thing, on the tablets and what they have going on, about how they're running things, how they're doing things. I want to say this game is going to be won at halftime, making adjustments, seeing what they're going to do, stop whoever's going off on both sides or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you really can't do much week one until halftime. And then you really get film or feel what they're going to do or what they want to do.
I agree. Mid-game adjustments are going to be huge in this game. And it's going to be the players being comfortable with our scheme defensively and offensively to be able to stop the Bronco offense or stop the Bronco defense. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be coaching, all coaching. And, I would say the last 5 or 6 seasons, a good coach has won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well-coached teams are going to win. There's a lot of talent in every squad. It's about being a well-coached team, and we're going to see year 2 from McDaniels in week 1 if he has his team well-coached.
Yeah. We see it a lot in preseason, but it doesn't translate into the regular season, and that's what's weird. Last year we went 4-0. I care less about the record, but the penalties and just the way we were coaching and the scheming and the plays we were drawing up was amazing. And even this year, in the first 2 games, throughout the Cowboy game, everything almost went perfect. Defensively, offensively, our ranks in preseason, and I'm not bragging about our ranks or yardage or anything, but they were first out of everybody. And we're a really great coach team until the regular season. I hope we took what we did in preseason, translate into the regular season, and we're a good coach team.
I agree, and I hope Josh McDaniels learned some of his lessons from last season because it's pivotal to make sure you learn from last season. I think McDaniels is going to do that.
Yeah.
Let's go on to our keys to the game, Nick. What's your first key to the game?
First key to the game is contain Russell Wilson. I know we've been talking, he's not the same player, he's not this. Couple of his big games last year was against the Raiders. Wasn't enough to get the job done, but yardage throwing, running with the football and everything was his kind of big games against the Raiders. Contain him and make him, do things that he shouldn't, make him feel uncomfortable, just like we said, and it should be good.
My first key to the game is get pressure on the quarterback early, kind of like yours. Get pressure on the quarterback early. Let's get Max Crosby going. Let's get Tyree Wilson going. I believe if you get pressure on Wilson early, he's going to be rattled for the rest of the game, and that just means it's all Raider football from there on out.
Yeah. My second key to the game, time of possession. I'm a big time of possession kind of guy. We got the leading rusher. We got a quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo who basically lived off of that in San Francisco and a couple games with the Patriots. He knows how to run that well. Let's keep Russell Wilson in that offense on the sideline, and let's run this thing. Let's dominate this thing.
My second key to the game, let's get Josh Jacobs going early in this football game. It'll make it a lot easier on the Jimmy Garoppolo's passing game.
Yeah.
Let's get JJ going early. Let's pound the rock. Let's do it, Nick.
Let's do it. My third thing, and it's really not a key or anything, let's go 1-0. Let's go take this. It's a division game. It's a big game. This, like I said, this kind of counts as 2, knowing this is division, with the West implications and everything. No matter what happens, let's leave Mile High 1-0.
Yeah, my third key to the game is play a clean football game, Nick. No dumb penalties. Set the foundation in week 1 what kind of team we are.
Yeah.
That we are a disciplined team. Let's do that in week 1 because typically these Raider teams the last, I would say, 20 years have not been disciplined. Have always had dumb penalties. Let's scratch all that. Let's change the narrative here for Josh McDaniels' Raiders in year 2.
Yeah, you're right. Let's give ourselves a chance. It seems like every time in the fourth quarter we look up, they got the little ticker, a little bar, and it's always 10 to 15 penalties for almost 100, 200 yards.
Yeah.
Let's give ourselves a chance in this game to actually win this ball game. And let's not do anything stupid.
Let's do our Raiders offensive and defensive player of the game predictions. Who's your defensive player of the game prediction, Nick?
Max Crosby. This week on YouTube, I was looking at just him versus the Broncos. And wherever the ball was, he was at. whether the running back had it, quarterback had it. He's had huge games last year and in years past against this Broncos team. I expect nothing more or nothing less. He's going to have a big game.
Nick with the safe bet there. I'm going a wild card here. I'm going Tyree Wilson. With the absence of Chandler Jones, I think Tyree Wilson is going to go off. He's going to go off in his first game in the silver and black as a Raider.
This is your future right here. Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson. You're going to see it now, week 1, with everything that has happened. And I don't think he's going to give anybody their job back. I think he's going to stay there for good, and have a really big game. Defensive rookie of the year and of the week this week.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. That's a gutsy statement from Nick right there. I would love to see that.
Yes.
Man, it's going to be exciting seeing those two. Like you said, the Raiders' future, Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson. We'll be able to see it this Sunday. Man, at 1 o'clock, it's going to be fun to see that. Who is your offensive Raider player of the game?
Josh Jacobs, the guy who's 7-0 against the Broncos, the guy who has 100 yards average against the Broncos, a guy who has 1.3 touchdowns a game, I want to say, against the Broncos. Whatever he does, he makes it look easy against this Broncos. He's fresh, just like we said. And I think he's hearing what everyone's got to say. He's not this. Contract year, he's going to have a big year. Big game 1, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, both of my players are new in the silver and black threads. And I'm going with Jimmy G for the offensive player of the game for the Raiders. I think he's going to do a good job running this offense in the first game. Week 1, I think he's going to go out and show what this Josh McDaniels run offense can be made of.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Offensive line, keep him clean, keep him healthy, and he's gonna have to have a big game if everyone else around him is gonna have a big game. Meyer, Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, just everybody. He's gonna be the start of it, and I think he's gonna do it.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge that Jimmy G has a big game, and I think we both have good players of the game: Tyree Wilson, Max Crosby, and then Jimmy G. And Josh Jacobs. It's going to be exciting. Score prediction, Nick, for this football game. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking 31-23. I think everything, just clicks. Josh Jacobs has a big game. Renfrow makes a couple good third down catches. Devontae Adams has a big game, and we're in Mile High, so it just seems like everywhere is field goal position for Daniel Carlson. We go out there, we score some points, we hold them a little bit.
I got the Raiders winning 27-17 in Mile High in Denver. Everyone's going to be calling for Sean Payton's head after week 1. No, I'm just playing, but I'm excited. I'm excited for this Raider game, and I think the Raiders are going to win by 10 or more in this football game.
Yeah, I just think we can easily dominate this game. This is year 2 of a regime against 1 year of the regime there in Denver, and We've been the big brother to them these past couple years. Let's keep it going.
Nick, once we win this game, are all the NFL analysts going to be like, it was just the Broncos? They have a new coach and stuff like that. What are they going to say?
I think and all the wins that we've had, even our playoff year and just everything, I think all the wins that we had, it wasn't, hey, the Raiders won this game. It was the opponent lost this game.
Yes.
The opponent did this to lose. The opponent did this to lose, or they did this and discredit what we did. Everyone expects the Broncos to win. If they win, hey, Raiders, whatever. This is the team. Sean Payton's back. Super Bowl run. Let's do this. If we win, then it's Sean Payton's, run down, Russell Wilson's run down, everything. But, we know, us Raider fans, we know what we do, how we look, and I want to say this is going to look different. And you're right. When we win, it's going to be because we won and dominated, not because anything was given to us or how stupid the other team played.
Man, Raiders, Broncos, week 1 in Denver at 1 o'clock. Pacific time. But it's going to be exciting. I'm so pumped up for this game. It's been a long time since we saw Raider football in action, and it's just been a long time since football. I just can't wait for NFL football.
Yeah, this is a big year. Everybody's pretty much written us off. You know, everybody has us in fourth. Everybody has us 4 or 5 wins. You know, last year we were sitting up here before week 1 talking about Super Bowl and, you know, what room are we going to book for the parade and everything. This year we're taking it week by week. Right now we're just talking about the Broncos. I honestly think everybody has a lot to prove. You know, Renfro has to come back from a bounce back year. Josh Jacobs, this is another contract year and prove that last year wasn't a fluke. A lot of people are talking about Devontae about, you know, he had 2 quarterbacks that he wanted. Now he really doesn't kind of want Jimmy G. How's that going to affect his yards? You know, this line has something to prove. Defense has something to prove. You know, we have stars. We have talent. We have all-pro wide receiver, all-pro running back, a quarterback that's been there, done that. Shows that he can flourish in whatever system he's in or whatever team he's in. You know, we got stars, and now it's time to prove it, and we're going to prove it Sunday.
Yeah, it's huge to mention that. I think a lot of these Raider players do have chips on their shoulders. I think Max Crosby, obviously, it seems like he always has a chip on his shoulder, even though he's been dominating for the Raiders. And you know what?
And not in a selfish way, but he wants that defense player of the year.
He wants it.
He wants that all-pro. And, you know, and not, like I said, not in a selfish way, but he wants to be known as the best defensive end in the league.
Yeah, in his interview, they talked about Nick Bosa getting his contract.
Yeah.
And Max Crosby looked at the reporter like, okay, you really have to say that because he's making a little more money than Mad Max. But he just had that look in his eye. Mm-hmm. He has a chip on his shoulder. And I think the guy maybe with the biggest chip on his shoulder is Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
People have, talked so much crap about this man, saying he's not a win. Like, he can win, but it's because of his defenses. He's not really a good quarterback. He just gets lucky. He wants to prove everyone wrong. He wants to prove the haters wrong. And I'm excited to see Jimmy G go out there week 1 against the Broncos.
Yeah, he reunites with his old head coach, or with his old offensive coordinator.
Yes.
He knows the system well. The head coach got his guy. Now it's time to go, you know, and to really see what he can do. You know, he was in a really great situation with the Patriots, a really great situation with the Niners, a lot of great experiences sitting behind Tom Brady in those couple Super Bowls, being in the Super Bowl with the Niners. Now he comes over here, experience, knows what to do, and we got a very smart quarterback.
We'll see you guys for the Raider Talks post-game. Man, root hard for your Raiders. Let's get it going early. Let's be 1-0 after week 1.
Yeah, let's be 1-0. Let's go get the job done. Man, I'm pumped up. This has been a long time. I'm pumped up.
Let's go Raiders. Let's get a win. Come on, Nick. Go Raiders.
Go Raiders.